Oh, no, I didn't fix anything about this. I didn't fix anything. Alright, hold on, I need to fix this really quick. 9 dash... Oh, wait, did I, like, not do one last week? Did I forget? Because this is... I need to put this in the playlist. I already started recording. It's too late for me now. Trains are building under construction. That's, I hit the button too soon. Too soon. There we go. The title of this stream is changing as I do it. And now I'm really confused. Did I not do one last week, or did I just forget to change the thing? I mean, what the hell was last week? Yeah, no, I just had two in a row that were named the same thing. I'm gonna go fix that really quick. Well, yeah, they were named the same thing. 901. First day of September, right? That was a week ago. That was a week ago. We're a week into September already. All right, there goes my sanity already, right out the gate. Sorry for the delayed response. Hello, Mopac. Hello, everyone that might be watching this on time or later. We're back on Tolbrin. This is my mega project, 50s-esque route in Trainz 2022. So, I cannot emphasize enough how much I don't want to do scenery right now. So we'll probably do homesteads a little bit later, but right now, I've got a few things pinging around in my head because I've been working on, hello Mew, I've been working on, like, passenger stuff. I was testing out the passenger timetables basically all day today, just making slight adjustments and sort of grappling with what I want this route to be and what I don't want it to be. Um, and the reason that's, like, something to grapple with is that, first of all, let's stop these from hovering. I'm tired of looking at this in the air. It's... What was I saying? Yeah, I'm struggling with, do I rely on um like triggers more, or do I just rely on timing and the logic behind the trains? Now, experience tells me never ever rely on the logic behind the trains because they don't have logic. They just sort of do whatever. Um they don't really know more than they can see, and they cannot see very much. So yeah, that was part of it. I'm still sort of on the fence. I'm trying to avoid using triggers wherever I can. But yeah, it makes sense to use triggers. So I was just having a conversation with Ryan, or Twink the Movie 2, the sequel, I think is his name on the Discord server. It's a little bit long. And he was saying to me, like, hey, why, we were talking about the analogs for the various railroads because we were talking about passenger equipment. And he brought up something which was already on my mind, which was, why is this not all streamlined stuff? And the answer mostly is because we don't have a lot of good streamlined stuff. But these commuter cars, they don't really have much of an excuse, and these like mixed, basically it's not going to fly. Basically I'm going to remove and replace a lot of these. Because I started just messing around, and when it comes down to it, it's probably better just to use the stainless steel cars. It's a little bit more era appropriate, even if we are still using Pacifics for everything. Some of these trains are going to have, like this one is clearly just thrown together. It still has some heavyweights on it. But for the most part, I'm going to go with a full streamliner complement, and I'm going to try to do that for all of the trains here, which includes the trains with baggage cars, includes the trains, I mean the RPOs can stay, and includes the trains, like the long distance trains with Pullmans, if I can get some good streamlined sleeper cars, which has been surprisingly tough to come by. So the thing is, right, now I've got some of them that are like non-DLS assets that I can't use, But if I go on the download station, I mean, what I really want is like a Bud sleeper. And it doesn't matter if I only have one. All that matters is if it's, if it is good. Hello, Orion. Here's a White Pass one, which is a 10.6. Um, I don't really want anything that looks. Here's C&I. That's Pullman. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just scrolling through right now, really quick, just seeing if there's any Bud sleepers that really jump out at me. Particularly ones that are, um, particularly ones that are all silver. Uh, and there are some older ones that I'm not gonna use. I'm trying to find things that are a little bit newer and better. The PRR ones and stuff like that. Let's see. I did just download a Santa Fe one. Let's look at that. So, I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Started just a little bit late, started a little hastily. Gonna have to end a little bit early because I need to walk down and pick up Gloria from work. Let's see. All right, we have. This is lower poly than I thought it was going to be, which is kind of a shame. Oh, this one's a lot nicer. Yeah, we can probably do this. What is this one? Yeah, that's the 10.6 Bud Sleeper that I just grabbed. Because I was going from the top, so. Yeah, and I think I'm going to replace, like, all of these sleepers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which, they're a little bit longer. They're a little bit taller, so they don't jive as easily. But the point is they're streamlined cars. And that is a little bit more just sort of akin to what we're trying to do here. And I kind of wish the New Haven had sleepers, but they generally don't. And if I find sort of another category of cars, yeah, this is like 50s-esque. It's not exactly 50s. GB60 circulate faster than 2006 Chevy Cobalt. How did you learn? Actually, do I want to know how you learned that? I don't know if I do. Here's the other thing. So, like, orange is supposed to denotate long-distance express trains, but we used all blue for the boat train. So, we're not really following a regimented way of doing things. We also, we need to build more here, because the boat train is the last thing, and this guy leaves. I mean, let me check my timetable. The boat train leaves at 6:35. So, yeah, we were like hitting the end of the schedule when I was trying to test the VMR stuff. This is about an hour and a half worth of trains, which is not a lot. Now, can I find a streamlined baggage car that doesn't look like garbage? I mean, we have some like lightweight baggage cars. They don't look good. Of 20th century and a fleet of modernism one, which we can't use either of those. We have that, which obviously isn't going to fly. And then we have this, which is cool, but we're not using that. So let me go back to the DLS really quick. Baggage. Is there like a Bud baggage car? Actually, Bud. A&M Bud baggage car. Okay, that's disgusting looking. I'm getting worried about the things that I'm seeing. Also, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Let's see. ATSF Bud baggage car. Pre-war Bud mail. Let's look at this. I just want, like a streamliner car, you know? Uh-oh. We've got the Doom countdown bug. That's gonna go great. Might crash the game, you never know. Keep an eye on this. Late enough that basically all the heavyweights were even from short and branch lines. Well, here's the thing. For the most part, so the Gilson Eastern has... The Gilson Eastern is mostly streamliner cars, very few heavyweights, as established by this discussion, and by myself of like 20 minutes ago. However, the VMR still uses Pullmans in service, heavyweight Pullmans in service a lot of the time. And we will see that. I mean, if you look over here, yeah, I mean, they've moved over to sort of lighter weight cars, but there will be some Pullmans around. See, the only thing that's getting me is that a brainwave hit me, which was that I would love to do a Shoreline. I would love to do the Zion and Skyline as a fully streamlined thing, because they run very few long-distance passenger trains. Like, they are the railroad that I could expect to have... let me open another content window. If I go to download station, and I go to, SP articulated, they would have, like... Yeah, like the daylight articulated cars instead of what they've got. And they would have some other daylight cars which would end up on the backs of trains like this, which would look kind of cool and could be a reason that they went with the red. But it's just that the oh, okay, I guess we can't do that. It's just that the where'd it go? It went down here? No, it's gone. Oh, wait. But those are home-built but articulated cars. I don't actually know where they came from. I couldn't tell you. I'm not an SP guy, really. But yeah, see, all of these are, like, by the same person. And they are, yeah, it's by 14, which his stuff is not terrible, but it's not, yeah. Utah Belt. Okay. Um, let's see, if I just look at this, right? Oh, this is a White Pass model. Let's try this. Because I think the one that we have is... I mean, White Pass is 58,422, which... Oh, don't wanna mess with it right now. Don't wanna mess with it right now. So, okay. So here's the thing why part of me in the back of my mind wants to keep the Gilson Easternland's sort of smattering of lightweight and heavyweight cars. Part of it is the fact that things are different between the north and south sides of the peninsula, and they have a lot of passenger cars, like a lot of. That you had GN Prairie from doubleheaders until. Oh yeah, no, it's these guys. These are the 1400 class. They are H4s, so it's not the ones that you were using, but it's similar. They're kind of cute looking. Yeah, and this is 50. Yeah, so this is probably worthy, right? So if I take this out and drop this in here, the thing that you gotta love about the Santa Fe is that they didn't like paint anything on their streamliner cars. They're just as generic as it gets. This is actually I'm gonna keep these having those cars. Oh yeah, that's right. I had these specifically. Yeah. And I mean, changing out these consists doesn't really matter too much because it doesn't like affect the AI or anything. Um, yeah, that sounds normal. But yeah, I could see the north side getting more streamliner cars and the south side getting things that are not streamliner cars as much. Um, you'll notice some of these things bleed in here because the south side has a lot of smaller and older equipment because they're just not as much of a long distance heavy service. They're not going between two giant cities as much that are like, relatively close together. Jefferson is a larger city than either of the two population centers to the south. So Wambeck is not very big, and New DMAG is, yeah, it's decently large, but it's not as big as Jefferson. So yeah. So anyway, we've got almost a full complement of Streamliner cars now. And the thing is, yeah, I do want to have the Streamliner cars here, and I want to download. Let me save the game before I do this. But I'm going to download all of the SP articulated stuff, which these are done by who? They're also Magic Land. Okay. So if I go by, if I add author, Magic Land, and I go ahead and download, let's see, what else can I get? Because I want to download all of his SP stuff because I want to get the SP stuff that's not just oh, look at this. He's got, oh, those are old, wow. Um, the SP stuff that's Southern, ooh, this, downloading this. Um, Daylight, share, yeah, I'll say. Okay, so I'm going to download all of these Daylight things because I want to put this stuff on the Zion and Skyline trains. Here's the other thing. This would belong to, yeah, the Zion and sorry, the VMR, but this would belong to the Zion and Skyline. So if I grab, that's old. Hold on. Those are old. Wow. Oh, these aren't even the ones I thought they were. Okay, never mind. That's a shame. There are newer ones. I would assume they're not on the download station then. Or wait a minute, because there were two kinds of them, weren't there? Yeah, there's the Train Boy 1 ones. That's what I should have been looking at, not the Magic Land ones. Time to download some things. No wonder those other ones went so quickly. Wow, he's got so much stuff. Holy crap. Okay. Downloading. We need good Mikados that are on the DLS, because holy crap. Um, Also the Saginaw and Manistee. Manistee, yeah. Those could probably be good. I'll just keep the rolling ones. It's a lot of kinds of rail. I mean, he makes a lot of stuff, this guy. Skarloey Railway. Um, SP. Yeah, those are the Atlantics that I have. Southern Pacific 9-stall roundstout, roundhouse and 120-foot turntable. Um, I would go with tanks. Um, there's some good depots. Ooh, that's cute. I'll download that. Southern Pacific P10, SP cars. Oh yeah, I already have some of this stuff. Yeah, okay. SP Coast Daylight stuff. Download. Because I think I'm going to use this stuff for the Zion and Skyline passenger trains. Unlike the other railroads on the Tolbrin Peninsula, and I'm going to have to factor this into the I'm going to have to factor this into the Zion and the VMR trains. The Zion and Skyline only runs like 3 round trips a day between Akron and Gilson City. They just aren't interested in making money off passenger service in a general sense. Um, but the Coast Daylight was not a yeah. The Coast Daylight did not have sleepers. They just had parlor cars and chairs. Man, see, this is articulated diner, articulated parlor car, and oh, they don't have articulated sleepers either. But okay, see that gets in the way of things a little bit because I did want to have that, but if we can't do that, then we can't do that. Or that wouldn't be on a train with a through sleeper, or they would just tack on the through sleeper with it, or hmm. They're so fast they don't need sleepers. In fairness, yeah, no, they aren't. They don't. It doesn't go very far. It would really just be for the overnight trains because, I mean, even with the size of the Tolbrin Peninsula, it doesn't take trains, 7, 9 hours to get through. Yeah, the Hiawatha cars were the ones that I was actually originally going to use. Oh, they aren't train boys, huh? Hiawatha. What the heck? Oh, it's a wall S. Ah, okay, I got it. Hiawatha Coach Observation Car Express. Because Eggliner Hiawatha, nice. Yeah, because the Hiawatha wouldn't have had a sleeper because it was a relatively short schedule. Same thing with most of the trains we're dealing with here. So we have some Milwaukee Road sleepers that are Tomb. Pacific Hiawatha, yeah. I'm gonna download all the Tomb ones. Which is all these. I've sort of got carried away with doing the passenger stuff, which I don't even show you guys when I test the passenger schedules most of the time because it's boring. Like, this isn't interesting. They aren't interesting to program. They aren't interesting to watch. Uh, when I was a kid, I used to think, oh, the passenger trains are so cool, and now I've sort of realized that it's the freight trains that are the interesting ones. They do interesting stuff. As opposed to passenger trains, which maybe they change. I did get maybe they change cars somewhere or engines. I did get the RDCs to work though, so that was sort of the highlight of my day, and it didn't even really take any adjustment from me. It just happened to be the way it worked out today. And I don't know if that's luck or if it was a fluke the first time. I mean, we really don't want anything that's that has to depend on a fluke or could break because of one. We want everything to be, you know, 1,000% repeatable. But yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is more of what I'm talking about. We can use these Milwaukee Road cars. Which should I download the rest of them? MLWOH. OH. Um, Baggage car, coach, skytop, superdome, download. Top of the morning to you. I'm doing all right. Top of the evening for me. It's it's been. I mean, work was fine today, but just the troubleshooting these trains while I was also working was a little bit frustrating. Naturally, it's just one of those things where you know doing the troubleshooting takes real life time. It takes real life hours to watch them go and see if anything breaks and you know what works, what doesn't, and you get an hour and 30 minutes into a session and you realize something just isn't quite right and it's a little thing but it's going to affect everything else. So you need to, kill the session, go back into the to surveyor, make one little change and then rerun the session again and there's 90 minutes gone. And even if I were to do this, even if I were to spend an entire work day just paying attention to this, I would get, what, 4 runs done, 5 runs done, assuming all other things don't take any time and I never pause the game and the game doesn't lag or nothing crashes either in the game or on my computer. And one of the things that I was wrestling with over the course of today, which was okay, we're going to wait 45 minutes and see if this works, and then we're going to change a little thing, and then we're going to wait 45 minutes again. Um, if you guys remember, and I'm not sure if this was on stream or if this was just in the Discord, which you can join down below, uh, there was a train that was derailing over here. It was trying to pull into Mason's Landing, and while it was doing all the crossovers, which are apparently invisible now, uh, the interlocking tower would say, "Oh, so you're good now," and just throw all the switches back underneath the middle of the train, and it would derail half the train. This was combined with the fact that the train was getting confused trying to pull in. Um, that's a different problem entirely, but that's what was happening. Trainz is stuck. It's doing the countdown of doom. But whatever. Hopefully it'll sort itself out. Um, let's go back to where we were in staging. But I've managed to make that work, and the way I made it work is uh, forcing it to throw a switch, and also setting the interlocking tower to not actually throw the switches back once everything's done. Once the train is done and crossing out of the block. Hey, Kevin. Um, so yeah, that was one of the things. That was something that I did. We're gonna have to wait till this thing is done, which is gonna be very annoying. Um, I mean, meanwhile, I can just look for more stuff. I don't want to be downloading more stuff, but I can't really look because it's giving me the circle. Cool, so we're stuck here for a little while. I mean, I guess I could close out the game and just reopen it, and we'll be back where we started. But then, yeah, okay, we'll do that. Yeah, let's see. I do want to save. Now it's stuck. Cool. I mean, what did I do since the last time I saved? Because I saved before I started downloading things. Oh, I put the sleeper down. Alright, we're gonna crash Trainz now. Where's Trainz? There you are. Goodbye. Okay, back to that. Man, oh no. Yep, here we are. Cool. So, in my attempts to avoid something, I have instead instigated an asset database repair. So, here we are. I hope everyone is, like I said, having a great Thursday, because things are going really swimmingly over here. Um, could not care less about this. Oh, that was quick. Okay. Alright, back to what we were doing, which was filter, download station, um, filter, get rid of all this. MLWOH. OH. And that's what we got, and that's what we didn't. Download. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. And it's done. Magic. Alright, back to Tolbrand. We have to do something productive other than download rolling stock. Actually, you know what I want to do? Barn. Old barn with mail pouch, add. Old barn. We'll download all these. I downloaded some other barns. There's a flower barn. Oh, what is this? I'll download you, just because. Circus train, don't need that. Barn library. Huh. Okay, that's a lot of different types of barn. Oh, and you have to add the windows. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I need a lot of different barns. CUK farm barn, rundown barn. We'll download that. More circus stuff. Oh, hey, Shoreline, it's you. Okay. Come on. Oh, that's some bridges. There's a lot of things called barn, but not, okay, those are cars. It was made by a guy called Shortline. BDW IRM barn, yeah, that's not the kind of barn I need. Sheepfold barn. Oh, okay. Building, barn. Alright, never mind. I know it's not you. Okay. It's gonna ask me, would I like to use changes? Yes. Please don't be crashed. We're gonna go build some farmhouses after this, because I'm done sputzing around with this. You know, it is the 50s, and I like Pullmans, is the issue. I like heavyweights a lot. I like the look of them. I guess that didn't save, but all this did, so that's fine. I'll come back to that at a later date. Downloading passenger cars apparently is tantamount to tempting fate, so I'm not going to continue doing that right now. Instead, we're going to build some farmhouses. So, yeah. That's been sort of my thought process with a lot of this is... Let me switch back to... Oh, you guys couldn't see what I was doing anyway, because that was in front of that. Nobody said anything. Whatever. I want screen to be underneath webcam, not the other way around. Or underneath, you know what I mean. So, with that in mind, you guys can't see, I'll check this DM, which is... Alright, there we go. Have not watched in a while. How far have we gotten? We've made it to over here-ish. Mostly doing a lot of menial stuff. We aren't past this river, and we probably won't be past this river for a little while. And I have been getting distracted with doing AI work in no small part, so... Fear not, you haven't missed too much. I mean, you never do miss too much, considering it's, you know, this game is... Or this is a slow thing to do. Just all this route building. I mean, we'll be here until... I would say until the Queen dies, but rest in peace, the Queen. Things that we thought never would happen. It's really up there with me finishing this map. let's see. All right, we are gonna want like farmhouses. Oops. We are gonna want definitely a roundhouse. These guys aren't station masters, but what do you know? Um, that's not gonna do it. I'm gonna line up some like little cabins over here. I don't know why. I just feels like that should go there. It's like an in-law suite, but for if you live in a farm. Why is this bigger than that? All right, well, let's do barn now. Rustic barn. See, I can just start out with the easy stuff. I don't have to like mix things up at all. If I put these two together physically. All right. Hey, has everyone watched the episode of Doubleheaders? I feel like that came out pretty good. It's been a bit of a mess. We have had a few episodes without it, or a few weeks without it. That wasn't by accident. I suppose you could say that was deliberate because the matches we recorded were just a complete and absolute mess. Hey, Dragon, you haven't missed too much. I was just doing some work on the passenger trains, on potential passenger trains. So yeah, you haven't missed too much. Crashed the game once. Really, really not that exciting. Look how many barns I have, and I can't find a single one to use. Just talking with miners, huh? Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave this like this. Just this open space in between these two. I think I'm gonna leave. I'm going to add some sort of dirt as like a entryway path thing, or this, or whatever. And I will put yeah, there we go. That looks good, I think. It might. And I think I'm going to add some sort of dirt walking path, I guess, between this and the... This kid has been trying to hit on me for the last 3 days. Jesus Christ. Alright, don't get yourself into too much trouble there. Hope he's not a YouTuber. Drives me nuts when people do that. I mean, obviously it should drive everyone nuts, like realistically. You should not like support uh, predatory content creators. But what I guess I'm saying is like, as someone who is a content creator, it like hurts me specifically. And I know I'm not your whatchamahose it. I'm not your like typical content creator, I guess. Like I don't do this for a living. I don't do this for money even really. I mean, I don't even make the friggin' trading cards for money, you might even say. Like yes, I'm selling them, but it's mostly to just recoup the costs of making the dang things. And Why is CP illegal? I wonder. I can't answer that question. Maybe your local police department can. Alright, so there we go. There's one farm. One farmhouse done. I mean, they're all going to look probably kind of similar. So, still probably watching the first doubleheader. Yeah, so here's the thing. If anyone did hit on Ellis, Gloria would go to... Yeah, that is true. Oh man, I had one of those moments. You know when you say something and you know like your significant other is going to be like, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, is that so?" Like you talk to this person, you know, just like that twinge of jealousy that comes in. Oh, actually, I wanted to talk about Gloria in a much better and funnier way, which was that Gloria put way too many veggies on a pizza, and it basically turned. It was inedible almost. It basically was just a salad on bread. Um, Ordered way too many veggies on the pizza, and that's I wanted a piece of it, but it didn't look appetizing. And I'm not like an anti-veggie sort of guy. I love me a good salad, but I wanted pizza. Like Claire was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a pizza," and I was like, "Oh, that sounds great. You know, I might have some because my sandwich is kind of small and whatever." Comes with this thing that's just heaping with like onions and peppers and spinach and broccoli, and it's like there is sauce and cheese under there, right? Turns out, yes, there was, but um, yeah. From then on, I just referred to it as the salad you bought. Oh, this is cool. We're using this. Yo, this is where Edward Scissorhands was born. Go watch the Realist podcast. It's on our community channel. Ooh, what if I interlock these? That doesn't work as well as I wanted it to. I was actually wanting to interlock them like, oh, that's not where I thought the middle of it would be. Oh, and it doesn't cover the things. Oh well. Wait, what if I just, like, did this? Just enough overlap that you could conceivably have a doorway there. And let me cover the windows. Wait, why? What can I do in Surveyor 2.0 with this? Anyway, yeah, so I had to share this with someone, and I shared it with Gloria first, and Gloria was just like, uh-huh. Um, that very typical way of responding. And, you know, like, someone's gonna get murdered. But I went into the office for 2 days this week, which is fairly unusual as of late. And rotation system is improved. I want to make them the same rotation, like alongside one another. Um, and I'm sort of like I'm trying to find other things here because I want obviously some things that aren't. Yeah, I think I like the way this looks. Um, and then let's find like a small barn to go with it. There was a woman in the cubicle next to me, which is unusual because we have way more cubicles than we have people in my office because COVID and everything, and even before COVID, it was a fairly small office with not a ton going on, um, and yeah, I mean it was a merger of two offices, one of which had all of three people, of which I was one. Um, So I just happened to notice, like, hey, there's someone in the cubicle next to me. This is odd. Like, what's what's going on? There's this woman in the cubicle next to me that I've never seen before, and I don't remember her being sort of like brought into, brought into the company. I don't remember this, this happening. And whatever, I didn't really like interact with her all day. I had to walk by her cubicle to get to like the rest of the everything, the bathroom and uh, the water fountain and stuff like that, or the water cooler. But so like we saw each other, but did not interact. So I was like, oh, whatever. I'm like, I don't usually go and interact with people at work. I don't feel like I need to or have a desire to. The folks in my office, like I know them, I'm acquainted with them, but I don't ever hang out with them, and I don't usually like seek them out to have a conversation. So this, I wasn't planning on changing that because whatever. It's just some other it's just some other coworker I have that's not in the traffic group. I'll probably never need to work with them, so what's the point? And then I'm leaving. I'm leaving work, sometime later, several hours later, a whole work day, as a matter of fact. And there is a white Volvo 240 wagon parked in in the front of, because the office is part of a repurposed mill building, like where the office is for people that want to get an apartment. So it's like visitor parking. And there's a white Volvo wagon parked in the visitor parking. And I went, oh my god. Because it's a 240, it's just like mine. It's literally just like mine, except it's white instead of black. So I'm like, oh my god, that's really cool. There's another 240 wagon here. I wish I had brought mine because I would have like wanted to park next to this person. Uh, and as I get closer, I realize there's someone in it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ask them like what year their car is, that sort of thing. And I realize it's the woman with the cubicle next to me is in this car. And I just woke up and I'm like, I don't remember what the hell I started with, but I was just like, hey, I have one of these, I think. And so we had a very brief conversation on like Volvo ownership before I had to head out and head home. But I told that to Gloria, and Gloria was just like, uh-huh. Like, yeah, you're talking with your so you found the the lady in the office with the Volvo. All right, I guess things are over now. I guess we're done here. You found someone. uh I don't know what she said exactly, but just sort of like the general sentiment of like, damn, all right, so that's my competition. Like someone's gonna get taken out. I'm just sort of rolled my eyes, and then we busted each other's balls on the fact for a little while longer. But that was the only reason I wanted to go back to the office today, because now I have someone in my office to bond with over like anything. Um, I don't have a ton in common with my coworkers, so it it's nice to have like someone with whom I share something that I actually care about, as opposed to like, yeah, we both watch football, or that sort of thing. I've gone out with my coworkers after work sometimes, all right, once really, and it was just sort of sharing stories of work. There wasn't a ton else that we all had in common, and it wasn't like awkward, but it was a little bit awkward, made worse by the fact that we went out to like a bar, and I don't drink, so I was just like I think I got like a hot cider because it was a cold day. um and and enjoyed myself. We were sitting outside. It wasn't like a cold day, but it was cool enough that it was a little bit questionable to be sitting outside. But it was like mid-COVID too, so we weren't going inside. They just happened to have this place had outdoor seating for people that were, I don't know, brave enough to want to go to a bar and sit outdoors in the middle of COVID. Oh, hi guys. The cat and the dog are once again just sitting on the carpet behind me, on the little rug behind me. It's really more of a doormat, but I've repurposed it as a rug. Are we in the right? Nope, we're not. We're not in the right layer. We have not been in the right layer this whole time. Son of a gun. Alright. Hold on, we gotta switch this to right layer. And this. I'm glad I learned that I could do that. I'm a little bit annoyed. Just a touch. Okay. And I did put grass in here, and honestly, I don't think I care that much. Because really, realistically, there should be no time that I am working on this on the route layer, and maybe putting some stuff on the session layer would be smart, because then I would notice when everything's gone that, like, maybe I opened it in the wrong version. I see you guys down there. I see you guys memeing. TJ causing chaos as usual. Goddamn. Hey, I remember this house from, like, DayZ. Oh, hey, I've used this. Which is why I have it, incidentally enough. What the heck? Whoa! Okay, this is cool, first of all. Second of all, what the heck was that? Oh, I assume that's, like, night mode. This is gonna be, like, further back from the edge of the lot, I guess. No. Okay, I have to rotate it so that it... Whoa! Yeah, I mean, it's on the DLS. It's called whatever that was just called. Large steel shed, we used that. I don't want to do too much in the way of houses. By the way, that seashore route you were looking on, I'm not sure I ever gave you, like, the proper amount of props for it, TJ. I really liked that. It was very, very cool. Um... Can I, like, attach... No, I'm not gonna do that again. We'll just do a couple of barns here. I still need to look at yours, but, I mean, I've seen what you've posted of it, and I did like it, Kevin. Oh, that's way bigger than I expected. Why is this massive? Why is the doorway 2 stories tall? Holy Jesus. That was like a jump scare. This thing's also huge. The thing is, we need, like, a handful of smaller buildings to go here because of the slope it's on. Which, I mean, if we're doing high detail stuff, that's also enormous. Wow. But I think I could still fit it in here going sideways and then just lower it to, you know, fit in the ground. I mean, I'm now bothered by the fact that I just put this in, like, the perfect spot for it, and it's going to cause me trouble. It's going to be in an awkward position. If you guys are, I may be able to roll. I mean, you can still roll. Let's see. Hold shift and yeah, it doesn't look like I can roll it in there. Let's try Surveyor 2.0. Angle rotation. It doesn't look like it'll let me roll it. Wait. Oh, I can. I mean, I would really only want it rolled very subtly. Because now it looks like it's sliding down the hill. So yeah, I guess I'm not going to do that. But it's good to know that I can roll whatever the heck I want using Surveyor 2.0. I am a god. Alright, back to Surveyor Classic. Thank you, TJ. I like how, this is just boring enough to incite TJ into memeing. Just boring enough. He won't leave. But he will not go quietly. Or not exist quietly. This is like... I don't want to be mean to TJ, honestly. I don't want to come off as if I'm being mean to TJ, because, like, I am, I'm glad TJ's here. I'm glad everyone's here watching me do this. Um, but TJ said go ahead, so I'll say it. This is the streaming equivalent, or the watching equivalent of not being able to sit still, and I totally get it. Like, I 100% get it. Especially when I watch, if I go and watch like one of Heiss's videos or anything, because I've done some stuff with Heiss. I I believe he considers me a friend. Um, I uh, I will watch one of those videos and like I have to come up with an insightful or funny comment. Like I've got to say something. I can't just be like someone that silently watched the video. I need to make it known that I was here, but I need to do it in like a positive way. Um, Cousins who can't sit still unless it's Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I, yeah, respect. So show search filter. Let's see. I need to fill this space with something else. How about a well? Do I have a well? Well cover. I don't have like just a bog standard, just regular old well. Hold on. Well, here I go downloading stuff again. Get up and walk away when... Damn. Tree palm in well. Just gotta get the... Yeah, fair. Wells Fargo. Oh, just Wells. Wells Fargo. Oh, it's a skyscraper. A whale. Yeah, sure. Do I have an accent? Am I saying well strangely? Well, I mean, yeah, I have been told that I say whale. So, trains people wishing wells. All right, let's try it now. Okay, we're not doing that. Well, that's not ideal, but it's something. It's better than the other one. The just well cover. which I might put down here next to it anyway. Chat. That's hovering. Fargo State Coach, something so. Put some farm equipment sitting there. Yeah, actually, that's true. I didn't put any, like, trucks or anything at the last one, so... I'll put a farm-all tractor... Let's just put it, you know, over here next to the entrance. Make sure it's not hovering. Is it just, like, because of Lionel or whatever that tractors are such a ubiquitous, like, commodity to have on... in anything train related, or is it just people like tractors? Because I can understand either. I need to put that on a flat section of land. How about some plows? I don't have any plows. Really? That's another weird one. Gosh, the same cloth, yeah. Plow. Let me look up SAP plow. Old dudes love Lionel and John Deere. That's fair. It's just one of those things. It's like one of the default cars has one of its default loads as just tractors. And one of, like, what was I going to say? One of the, like, regular loads in, a Derail Valley is tractors. And it's like, tractors just, yeah, I guess they just have become synonymous with stuff that gets transported by train. Which is kind of interesting. It's just one of those things, you know, that's in the public consciousness and probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. I'll just put some extra plows there. I'll you know, make this dirt. I have a tractor industry on that branch line I'm not using. Yeah, I'll get to it. And I was just thinking about that. It's like, where am I going to need a... Like, I think it's going to be interesting installing that thing with Surveyor 2, because I bet it's going to afford me many more opportunities for sort of placing it in the way that I want, instead of just dealing with it at whatever height it is, which, if I remember right, was just 0, right? If I end up using it, you know, it remains to be seen. I think I'm just gonna throw some... Oh, I thought there would be like a pile of tires. That is kind of a cool sight to see, though, that barn and house from a distance. Building farms right now, so I need this video. Yeah, just go on the download station, download everything that says farmhouse and everything that says barn. What's the east that was showing off his absurdly oversized, like, file folder? Oh, do you not have the CDP anymore? I don't even know if I have the CDP anymore, honestly. I'd have to go look. I mean, let's see. Here's my... Oh, I had my Trainz folder open a minute ago. Trainz. Maps. Oh. Damn. Well, I have some old stuff here. There's the Aquatic Central. There's a zip just called Beach. There's a few drive downloads. CME Depths. So CDPs, Ericsson, Hazel. I might not even have it anymore. I don't know what the name of it would have been, what I would have saved it as. I've got a few suspicious looking nope, that's not it. A few suspicious looking zip files that it might be inside of, but I don't have anything called like Appleton, you know, or the A and N, Aspen and Northern. Yeah, no, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know if I have it anymore, TJ. That would be really sad. Um, isotopics. I may try to make a narrow gauge red somewhat akin to the thing you were working on a few years back. I mean, Godspeed. If that's what you want to do, I totally support that. The I assume you're talking about the Geiger Mountains because that was the narrow gauge route, and yeah, I mean that was sort of a formative moment or a formative project for me, and I've talked about this again and again, but yeah, if you want to do that, especially if you're going to try to do the same thing I did, um, yeah, Matt, you don't need to correct him. You don't need to remind me how long it's been. Um, all right, yeah, we're gonna put some stuff in this corner, and this guy's gonna have a fence because why not? So that's my first thing. Double checking. So I'm awfully tired today, and I don't know why. Oh my god. I remember I watched those videos back when I was like 9. The issues in programming should pretty much be gone given the logic seems to work slightly better than it did back then. Well, the other thing is, the thing that's most important about the changes between 2006 and 2022, or even 2006 is Tane, and Tane, the biggest things are the addition of a whole bunch of really useful commands that are on the DLS. And I mean, I can, two of them I can think of are drive through track mark list, um, and couple at track mark. Couple at track mark is probably the biggest one, but couple at track mark means you don't need to have um, unit trains everywhere anymore, and things don't have to be 100% predetermined. Couple at track mark list is kind of the same thing where you can have trains that'll make some decisions. You don't really want to let them do that, but if you look at my programming, which considering I've seen you around here before, I'm pretty sure you have. It is mostly just go to track mark, go to thing, and then uncouple, and then couple at track mark. Um, you know, there. I really wouldn't say that the Trainz AI is remarkably smarter than it was. You know, how long was that ago? I mean, 2006 was what? 16 years ago? Yeah. It really hasn't improved much in 16 years. What has improved is the tools to interact with the Trainz AI. And those um, those commands, those scripts, are only the center of the iceberg. Are the center of the iceberg. Are only the tip of the iceberg. I'm making up my own things now. Uh, where the biggest thing is having interlocking towers to do big movements like that. And I mean, let's face it, when it comes down to it, no, things aren't that much better. And when it comes down to it, no, you can't really if if I were to try to do exactly what I did on Geiger Mountains, I could make it work. However, it would still be as much of a difficulty as it is today. And the reason for that is because what I was trying to do on Geiger Mountains really didn't employ a lot of the tools that I'm using now. Um, I didn't have a lot of uncoupling and coupling, or anything really at all. I didn't have a lot of um, Yeah, this looks good. We'll just put this right over top of the fences, honestly. I didn't have a lot of, like, major decision points where an interlocking tower would be useful. I really just had unit trains running around doing, like, the locomotion thing, you know? And by and large, that hasn't changed very much. Sorry about my nose. Um, yeah, we'll have this guy have one of, like, a box car in his yard. Why not? Really, this is just going to boil down to house, farmhouse, house, farmhouse, by the looks of it. I don't know if I had, like, greater plans for this area, but I'm not following through on them. See yellow. Get rid of that. Rest in peace, your transport fever save. Um, you know what? I think I'm going to throw in some sort of animals in the back here. Let's do, like, sheep. There we go. Let's try for, like, an open barn that we can tuck on the end, at the edge of the yard, or even something like this. This is fine. Alright. There we go. And we've done another one. This is proceeding a lot more easily than I'd initially anticipated. This guy's probably going to have a couple houses on his property. But let me decide on a barn or two first. Oh, the other thing is, this is so much less than flat. This is actually fairly steep. So we'll just call that like a beach shed. There we go. I'm working with now, which is generally with Tane, which is generally, yeah. So the things that are the most important are like interlocking towers for your big changes. But really, I think part of the issues I was having was due to a lack of understanding. That to get trains to go to certain locations, you have 3 track marks in junction, feels less jittery, tracks yield similar routes to the final destination. So the train usually follows the route you want as opposed to the one that might be marginally shorter. Yeah, that really depends. Um, you really want to string them along with track marks as best you can because they're stupid. They're not very, they're not very smart. They will have trouble figuring out what you want from them, the Trainz AI. And the thing is, you may need to reinforce that twice or 3 times with various different things when you get into sort of trains covering the same area repeatedly. And that, yeah, because that seems to instigate problems. You know, that seems to start. What the heck? Something's wrong with this. We're gonna have to put something on that side of it. This guy is just broken. I mean, I'm still gonna like. I kind of like the way it looks, but I'm gonna keep all the weird stuff pointed away from the tracks. I can dig into an example as well because it's worth bringing up because this was a struggle that I mentioned I was having sort of uh, earlier in the show. Usually try to minimize the number of track marks I have. Managed to have a route 60 miles worth of tracks, only had 5 to 600 track marks, most of which were precise yard work. Oh, retaining wall's a good idea. Retaining wall's a little bit tricky, but yeah, let's grab a retaining wall. Hi. Hi. Dog is sniffing my leg. See, the thing is, I want to use stuff like this. I can justify this a little bit more, watch. Oops. I don't really like this for this purpose, though. It's a little bit, too industrial commercial sort of looking, which is why it didn't immediately spring to mind. Let's see if I can grab some other retaining walls. There are tons of other retaining walls, turns out. Some of them are not so good. Grass embankment. I mean, honestly, yeah, what I should probably do is... Oh, what is this? Oh, separate spline required. Log retaining wall. What is this? I want to download this, just to see what it is. Also, radio, that's incredibly impressive, just that you had the functional 60-mile main line. That's a lot of work. Trust me, I know. I think we're going to do this. I just want to try. I just want to use this somewhere, you know? Okay. And I'll move this more onto this and drop it down just a oh wait, no, it's touching the ground now. And I wanted to put another house down here. Probably just like a normal house, too. Not even anything special. This is a dumb looking house. Okay. If your house looks like that, I'm sorry that you have to live in a house that looks like that. Yeah, okay, we don't want anything that will appear in a suburban neighborhood with no right angles. I want something a little bit older than that. Meanwhile, Lafayette is feeling neglected and is taking out all of his toys. Come on, give me something, like, usable. Yeah, sure. I don't love this either because it's got, like, a garage and everything, but if you figure that this thing, like, just went up, maybe it makes a little more sense. Oops. So, yeah. Yeah, if I tried to redo Gayer Mountains, I'd probably run into the same sort of problems, but I would probably have an easier time fixing them just because of a better understanding. And yeah, maybe it has improved somewhat, but it still has the same kind of quirks if you don't pay attention when you're trying to put it together. Um, 50 trains running it. Wow. Lost the save. Yeah, that blows. Yeah, I like this. We're gonna go with this. This area is gonna be mostly... Oh, this is actually way better. Actually, I wish I had something just a little bit greener to sort of continue the transition here. But I think that's a good transition. Oh, I didn't even put a barn up here. That's something we need to do other than this little thing. We need to actually put like a barn up here. Born. I need something that actually looks appropriate though. It's been a few years. I think I'm gonna rewatch the Geiger Mountain stuff. Oh man, watch at your own risk. I think I'm gonna stick a silo on the end of this. Yeah, it's been a long time. So yeah, that looks terrible. Losing a power supply can take out like everything, and it's kind of crazy. I'm always worried about making my yikes. I'm always worried about making my power supply go overboard. So 20 chemo, not gonna lie. Yeah, well, it was a long running series, but that doesn't mean it was all good. There we go. But it went through a lot of changes over its run. The zombie train did. But yeah, I'm always worried about like killing my computer by demanding too much of it, especially when it comes to Tolbrand. But I'll say this out loud. Um, my computer has only seldom ever had issues because of Tolbrand. It hasn't really crashed because of Tolbrand except for a couple of times. And it gave me some fair warning first, at least it seemed to have. But I was trying to play BioShock Remastered, which I've never actually played any of the BioShock games. So I sort of was in a certain kind of mood, and I figured Bioshock would scratch that itch, and like tried to get the computer to play it, and every time it just crashed the thing. I mean, it was the remastered, so it wasn't it wasn't old school, but still, I would have thought that I would have been able to handle it. I think there's something up with this graphics card that just makes it hate certain games and just give up. Um, and I do have someone that's going to probably be sending me a new, better graphics card sometime soon, but that means this is going to get hand me down to Gloria, which I don't really want to put that on them if it's something that is just going to be like a recurring issue. Especially if they're trying to play stuff and the computer just is having none of it. So I may leave them with the one they have, but it's far less capable. Um, that said, Gloria's computer is going to get a new CPU, which is the much more important part, because it's currently CPU bound pretty badly. It's using my old CPU. So either way, I think I'm going to take this graphics card out of service and probably disassemble it. And I did some research, and it looks like maybe I can reapply the thermal paste on it, and that will help substantially. It seems to be that's what people are indicating. So, who knows? Maybe I'll give that a shot, and maybe it'll work, and maybe Gloria will be, will wind up using these, or using this card, as opposed to the one that they currently have in that computer. Alright, that's so small. Wow, I thought that was going to be so much bigger. Army truck. I'll put this like right along the right along the street here, like you're just in England somewhere. In a garage, which I'm not going to add. We'll be getting to the homestead soon. I don't really know what I want that to even look like, so I haven't put too much thought into it, but oh, those are the giant ones that I really can't use. And I want this to be a little bit ordered, so I want to fit something else over here, some other kind of building. Oh, pipes. Yeah, that'll do it. That's what I want. And I don't think the shops or the shotgun house are going to be it. I'll put this out by the road. That looks like it'll do. I'm going to slide this over. Yeah, a hay shed is probably it. Oh, I do have some hay sheds. That's convenient. Oh, that's much bigger than I thought it would be, but honestly, I'm for it. And I'll delete this. It's no longer fitting the vibe that I'm looking for. This is fairly organized looking, and that is kind of what I was just going for. and this inner portion is going to be gravel. This is going to feel almost more like a vineyard you would go on a tour of than a just normal farm. Decrepit farmyard behind the now current farm. That's a good idea. I'll save that for one of the other ones. It's an Amish farm. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're just advertising out here, is what it is. Come to Shady Maple, gain 20 pounds. I need to get back to Shady Maple. I'm so hungry. I'm losing it. I was starting to feel a little delirious before we started this. Not like delirious, but just like, man, I'm feeling a little bit whacked out because I haven't had very much to eat. And I did have lunch. Like, I had a late lunch of like a microwavable meal because Gloria's at work and I would starve to death without her. But, you know, Amish bought tractors from grandparents. See, vineyard, Tolbrin equivalent of the Napa Valley wine train. Yeah, no, that's sort of what's crossing my mind here. And I feel like maybe I should definitely have that somewhere. I need to specify a region that, on Tolbrin that is like known for their wines and their vineyards and stuff like that. And in fact, it might be neat to do that out somewhere on the Mansfield Branch Railroad. Be a barn with a rusted up and decayed steam tractor. I don't know. Do we have one of those? Can I get a steam tractor? Steam tractor. EMT steam tractor. Da, da, da. Steam tractor road. That's a road. Steam tractor red static no animation. Static animated visible load. Oh, it's a load. Billboard for case steam tractors. The Hammered Express. I mean, honestly, I should just download one of these steam tractors and just use it somewhere. I'm just going to download it. But in seriousness, no, I think having a designated area. Let me save really quick while it's trying to download that. A designated area, probably again on the Mansfield Branch Railroad, that's known for its wines and vineyards, and then using that. Sorry, excuse me. If the Mansfield Branch Railroad. Oh, traction engine. Yeah, that'll do as well. This is having trouble downloading it. If the Mansfield Branch Railroad. Oh, did I just crash it? I just crashed it. I think I just crashed it. Good thing I just saved. Yeah, come for the Wednesday because you fell asleep on the train. Literally just saved. Oh, we're back. I don't know if it downloaded that. Did it? No, it didn't. Traction engine. It's funny because traction engines or steam tractors, there are so many, like, versions of what we call them, and no one seems to agree. Like, steam tractor, traction engine, road locomotive, you know, there are almost certainly others, but it just strikes me as those three are they're completely incongruous. But they all mean the same thing. You say either of those things, and people know what you're talking about, but they won't say those things. Uh, I mean, steam tractor seems really basic. Road locomotive seems British and kind of not accurate. Uh, and then traction engine is like the technical sounding term, you know? Uh, It sounds correct. Whether it is or not, who knows? Road locomotive is supposed to be the porter with a bulldozer for me. Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. Um, Life just be like that, you know? That looks so great, honestly. I really... Oh, here it is. Here's the big H. Are we going to do this right now? Well, you know what we can use for the homestead? We can use one of those giant barns. Or the log hauler? Oh, yeah. The Lombard. Or the other one. Those things are neat. Yeah, I just feel like this was just upscaled too much. I'd like to use this one. I'd like to use 2 of these. And probably multiple, um... Oops. There we go. Dragon-powered field engine, yeah. Dragging these nuts across your face. Ayo. Alright, let's make these slightly off of. And let's grab a couple of silos. Alright, there we go. Just put 4 silos because we're doing overkill right now. Chernobyl-like incident. Yeah. Mobile home, huh? Let's punch in farmhouse again. See what we get. Wow, that's small. I'm just vaguely paying attention to the chat now. It's even smaller. I thought that was going to be bigger. Give me a big house. Yeah, pro tip, don't roll coal. It's not good for anyone. It's good for neither you nor your wallet, as it turns out. And air quality. Turns out people like clean air. It's a good thing. I'm going to attach these 2 things to whoops. Attach these 2 things together. You don't want to be the reason for 70,000 commercials about mesothelioma. I know that's an asbestos thing, but you got my point. EMT for. Oh, okay. It's a BS farmhouse. Yeah, I mean they're probably reacting because you're being an idiot. It's there's not really anything to it. People don't like it because it's stupid, not because like you're upsetting someone's sensibilities. Locking yourself out of your car to own the libs. Yeah. I mean, it's no surprise that a lot of people don't have a lot of tolerance for things that make life worse for you and everyone else. Because, it's one thing to be upset about something that doesn't affect you. There's a lot of that, and I can't, say for certain whether it's a good or a bad thing, or, and things that affect someone indirectly are sometimes tough to separate from things that, oh, this doesn't affect you at all. Because you can always draw out some sort of rationale, Uh, but oh, so you're only ironically doing a dumb thing. Uh, but it's just like these are things again people don't get in a twist because of something like this because like they were told to. I mean, some people yes, but it's like it's a little bit more simple than that. It's just you're making smoke. You're making smoke for no reason. It's not providing you warmth. It's not providing you heat. It's providing you. You're basically just trolling at that point. And the thing is, this isn't the internet. We actually have to live out here in the real world. Uh, and some people would like to live like for a while, you know, or have kids that live for a while. So that's why people get annoyed. It's not a difficult concept. It's not really weird either, you know. And I get it. Some things are disliked just because they're obnoxious. I feel like rolling coal is a little bit above the level of like your typical, dude who has his exhaust modifies, so it's just loud. You know, um, it's like, well, what are you gaining from doing that? Well, I like the way it sounds. Okay, but you're, unless you're damaging, yes, noise pollution is a thing, but unless you're damaging someone's hearing, unless it's so loud that you're damaging someone's hearing, you're not really causing anybody harm with that. You might be causing someone annoyance, and if you go through neighborhoods all the time, you might be waking some people up, and yeah, okay, that could be classified as harm, but by and large, for the most part, you can go and be loud somewhere, and it's not going to affect the daily lives of the people that aren't in your immediate vicinity. And the folks that have these setups where, oh, I can turn it on and turn it off, yeah, okay, more power to you. If you want to be loud in a place where you can be loud, I'm not going to, I can't say anything about that. No one can say anything about that, really. Uh, you know, if you want to drive like you're on a track and you go to a track, then you can drive like you're on a track. It's not a complicated sort of situation. Um, like, yeah, okay, going through a residential neighborhood is annoying, but if you're doing that at 11 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's far less egregious than doing the same thing at 2 a.m. For the most part, the people that are going to be awake are going to be awake, and yeah, okay, it's louder than average, but people are going to do loud things through a good portion of the day. Um, Maybe not loud enough to wake someone in a neighboring house up, but point is, there's scales to these things. Uh, and yeah, it doesn't. It's no stretch to call it dumb to roll coal, especially if you're doing it just to annoy people. some semis will do that because that's just the way it works. Uh, but you know, you can modify your car however you want as long as it's not causing harm to anyone or anything. And for the most part, that holds true. But I doubt you're going to stop people and explain like, well, it isn't real or some such thing. Whether it is or it isn't, I'm not sure I understand the situation. But you know, doing doing the kind of thing as a joke is equally as bad as doing it not as a joke. For you know, if it's the same thing mechanically, you know what I mean? Point is, it's just kind of dumb. Okay. And I can say that because I'm behind a screen here and don't actually have to deal with any repercussions for my statements. You know, if I pull a guy in his giant truck, if I see a guy in a giant truck and be like, hey, you're, whatever. If I have my Karen reaction on him, someone might pop off at that. That's the way it goes sometimes. You're threatening someone's way of life, even if the way of life is threatening other people's way of life in a more literal sense. Uh, but I mean, there really isn't much discussion to be had on the ethics of rolling coal. It's just not like it's not a deep subject. It's someone wanting to show off, and other people criticizing the manner of showing off. It's honestly, I feel like it's comparable. It's almost comparable to graffiti, maybe. Graffiti on rail cars or graffiti on abandoned structures that are highway side. It's like, yeah, okay, you're doing your protest or whatever you're doing. You're putting your name on something. You're making art. Some graffiti can be beautiful. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Like there are some incredible pieces of street art out there, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. It doesn't mean that um, it doesn't mean that it's like ethically unambiguous or even ethically gray in like a positive direction. It's just sort of a question of, oh, I didn't want to do this like this, did I? Oh, I wanted this area to be like that. It's sort of a question of like, okay, what is oops. What is who is being harmed by this? Is anyone being harmed by this? And the answer is okay, yeah, no one directly, but someone's got to clean that off eventually. Someone's got to foot the bill for new paint in the on the hopper car. Someone's got to fit the bill to clean up this concrete embankment or whatever. And so that ends up coming out in some manner of speaking. Whether you're talking about rates to shippers or if you're talking about rail cars, rates to shippers or employees not getting paid as much. Which, I mean, let's face it, the railroads aren't paying them anything anyway. Um, or like you have to allocate part of your tax budget as a small town to cleaning up graffiti, and now you're taxing people because there are citizens going around and making a mess of things, and that's how it comes back around. You know, and yeah, it's not necessarily the same people that are considering one side or considering the other side. Otherwise, there would probably be more accord. But these things don't exist in a vacuum, and rolling coal doesn't exist in a vacuum. There we go. I'm not sure I understand the whole water vapor thing, but I'm not really about to get into it. It smells funny to me. Labor does not contribute to profits, is what you're thinking of, Mopac. Um, oh, right, I wanted to talk about AI foibles, which I did mention at the top of the show, and didn't really get to come back around to. I mean, it's almost 9 o'clock. We are moving in the direction of the end of this thing. We're, about 2/3 of the way through, considering I've got to step out a little bit earlier than usual. But I don't want to get too distracted with the AI, considering the amount of time I've spent on it recently, not just in under construction, but outside of under construction. I like the, sort of homesteads we've worked on today, though. I really like these little things that we've built. Did I give this guy a... Yeah, so that would be down here. And I said I wanted to build a windbreak here. I haven't looked into how far apart windbreaks typically are. And I will walk my statement back just a little bit. I mean, calling someone dumb is overly derivative for, talking about rolling coal. People are usually doing it because they want to get a rise out of people, because they want to, you know, because they want to be, what should we call it? They want, eyes on them. There are a variety of reasons, and yeah, no, they're not like. I would just implore someone who does that to sort of examine the reasons why they want to do that, and consider any impacts. I mean, I feel like most people who would do something like that genuinely probably don't care too much about the overarching impacts, but it's important to just sort of point it out. But, you know, that doesn't give me a free license to just call people dumb. It doesn't give a free license to brand people as dumb. You've got to dig further than that. And I apologize because that was me setting a poor example, just to try and just to try and rebuke things, and that's not the right thing to do. It's not the way to have a discussion. It's not the way to be a role model. Um, so yeah, I do want to apologize for the lyrics in the previous verse, as it were, and say that in essence, dismissing something as, well, it's people doing something dumb, isn't helpful to anyone. It isn't helpful to you. It isn't helpful to the person you're talking about. If you want to be unhelpful, then I guess you can be unhelpful. But that sort of comes back to it. Why make one decision when you can make another? Always think through all your options and the implications of all of those options before you go in through and make a choice. You might not care too much, but there are other people who might, and you might have a reason to care about them. So, if you can't do something for you, maybe you can do something for someone you know. If you can't find a reason for, you know, for thinking that hard, maybe think that hard for someone you know. You never really know how you could be affecting people unless you sit down and talk with them, but you can think about it. And that's an important aspect of, well, being a better person. Something that I was saying the other day to someone was, we really, you can look out in the world and you can see all sorts of people. And I'm sure any one of us can look out in the world and see kinds of people that we don't like, we don't respect as much. We don't really see why they're like that, or we see why they're like that and we sort of dismiss it as like, well, they're being, intransigent, they're being difficult, they're being dumb. And what I challenge people to do is not compare yourselves to them, because you can write off anyone. We judge people by their actions. We judge ourselves by our intentions. It's difficult to see where the line really is, because it's tough to put oneself in another person's shoes like that. It's tough to think about, well, if I had done this and made this mistake, or if I was in this position, would I be defending this point quite as well? Would my emotions get a hold of me, or anything like that? You can sort of, I'm being very general here because I don't want to single anybody out, but you can ascribe this to any sort of person that you could think of that you think fits this bill, and you don't need to tell me who it is. But when we compare ourselves to other people and look at like why we feel like we can write off those people, I think we rob ourselves of the ability to sort of judge ourselves for what we are. We end up comparing ourselves to other people that we don't like. And it's not about that. And I know that's easy to say, but it's not about that. And this is just a roundabout way of talking about, this is a roundabout way of talking about this. But this was the sort of spiel I was trying to give someone the other day. You don't get to act like you're smart because you see dumb people. You don't get to act like you're good because you see bad people. And at the same time, you don't get to act like you're bad because you see good people, and you don't get to act like you're dumb because you see smart people. We are individuals. We are all so similar and yet completely different. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses in areas, not overall. You can't measure someone by, in a sum. No, and MK, that's a good point. The person you should always try to be smarter than is the person you were yesterday. The person you should always compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. And tomorrow you should try to be a better, smarter person than you were today. And that's the bottom line. You don't need to try to be smarter than your neighbor or better than your neighbor. You don't need to try to be, smarter than the person you met online. You need to be smarter than yourself yesterday. And you need to look back at the things you've done and the choices you've made, and not analyze whether they were good or bad, but think, how can I do better than this? Because at the end, it doesn't matter if it was good or bad. At the end of a day, it just matters that you made decisions and you can reflect on them and sort of go back and see if you could have done things better. And my clock is going off 2 minutes past the hour. Could have done better. But, that's what life's all about. And I feel like some people miss the mark on that. Some people feel like that, they see dumb people around, so they feel like they're smart. And that's good enough. They feel like they don't really need to be introspective and don't need to worry about change that much, because the world is the way it is, and you already feel like you're doing the best you can, even if that is nothing at all. But if you start comparing you to yourself, suddenly you're just a baseline. Suddenly you're always a standard for what to do better tomorrow instead of something that's out of your control. Hi, guy. In my opinion, if you are smart enough to be called out, let other people do it. Oh, my back. People that prefer Lincoln pin couplers are just plain wrong. Yeah, but that doesn't make them stupid. And that doesn't make us better for liking Knuckles. You know? And, you know, the bottom line of it isn't liking the better thing at all. It's how you go about that like and how you treat people that like something that you don't and that don't like something that you do. You know, it's not a question of it's not always a question of how do I become a smarter person and find out what the right answer is. It's a question of how do I become a better person and I don't know. You can make judgments on what better is. Really. There's no set criteria. Maybe better is smarter. Maybe better is kinder. Maybe better is just more open-minded. Maybe it's quieter. Maybe it's louder. It's all about what you can do better. And the way to know is fairly simple, I think. You look back at the interactions you've had over the course of the day and decide whether they were positive or negative. You know? There's that old saying, if you meet a jerk in the morning, you've run into a jerk. If you meet jerks all day, you're the jerk. Obviously, it's not said quite the same most times, but point is, if you feel like the interactions in your life are often negative, you don't need to blame that on the other people. You need to think about how you can make them more positive. And sometimes it's not your fault and never will be, but it's not about fault. It's just about, can you do any different, any better? Sometimes that just means walking away from a situation where your interaction is going to make things worse. And that's not, again, because of your fault, but because of the interaction is problematic. Could be. You know, there's a nuance to this. But that's just a conversation I was having the other day. It's important to remind people that are acting troubled that it's not about being better than the person they're talking to, it's about being better than yourself yesterday. And that's really the crux of all that. Because sometimes you just need to remind someone that they can do better, that they can be better. And that doesn't necessarily make you yourself better, but you can do that on your own and be a role model. And to that end, yeah, I apologize for dismissing something and a group of people as dumb. It's not the right way to live a life. Anyway, I think I'm going to get to AI in not too long. That was a roundabout way to say the same thing about 17 times. So, if I am going to put that in a book, I need to do a better job of articulating it and explaining myself. Because it was just a lot of back and forth and backtrack. I didn't really come here to do this, and then I realized I didn't have grass over here, so I figured I might as well get it done. Just double checking once again. I really don't know what I'm going to do on this beach exactly. It's going to be a little bit rockier than usual. Honestly, when we have zero-man crews, we'll have to have completely automatic couplers. You know, ones you can just undo from a computer. Electromagnetic couplers that'll just click on every single car. 2 of them on every car. I'm sure that won't be expensive. But I mean, they're already trying to. I've seen stuff like that in model scale already. Like people advertising automatic couplers on like HO scale box cars at train shows. And it blows my mind because that's a lot of tech to pack into a relatively small package. And I know it isn't that much, but it's just like, okay, every boxcar needs a decoder, every boxcar needs an address, and you need to be able to tell it like the front coupler or the rear coupler. Um, and it's just a lot of technology. And you think about that, okay, let me scale it up to a to a full scale size. The one disadvantage that full scale trains have over HO scale is that they don't have a current always running through the rails that tells them what to do. That's the biggest difference. Have I seen the DSP&P 280s from Trainz Forge? I don't think so, but I haven't looked at too much narrow gauge stuff in a while. Lionel couplers on trains went. Yeah, I mean, if we can get like a giant magnet in the ground in front of every switch point, that'll do it. Imagine if that's what I had to do for Tolbrand. I would drive myself off a cliff. Okay. So we've made it to about here. This needs to be done. But we're getting closer to this river over here. I'll take care of something simple right now, which is this. And part of me does want me to continue doing terrain on this, but it's... Guy, I'll get to that. I was in the... Yeah, I didn't quite finish the thought because I got distracted with work here. But that's the thing. Yeah, I want to continue doing the terrain here, but that's not what we need to be working on. The reason that that's an advantage for model trains is because, well, everything's kind of close together. How should I put this? You have instant contact with everything. And that is the kicker. That's what makes it easier to do it in model scale than in real life. Although also, as a modeler, you don't have a profit motive, but that's, sort of a side deal. You would have to figure out how to communicate with all the cars on every train, or at least have all the cars on every train communicate with the engine independently. You could do it, you could definitely do it, but it would be a little bit tougher than average. It would be a lot of radio channels, a lot of radio, sort of comms. I mean, imagine a yard with 20 trains in it, and they're all trying to communicate with all the cars in them. How do you define that? I mean, you could have another hose, you could have another cable, but now you need to make that automatic too. And you just sort of stack complexity on complexity, and it's very doable. It's very possible with current technology. It's not like it's beyond our grasp, but it's complicated in a way that we're not really interested in doing, and the railroading industry really isn't interested in doing, because it's far from a quick fix. It's far from adding or changing one thing. And the models are so much simpler, and they're so much smaller, and they're already all able to communicate with each other, basically. Uh, that's just, yeah. Could it be possible to adapt Wi-Fi? Yeah, the only thing is Wi-Fi isn't designed to reach out to such ranges. As you get, as you have waves that are smaller, and I'm talking electromagnetic waves, and Wi-Fi is okay. Hold on, pull up electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum, and I'm running out of water, and I'm running out of the ability to speak. Let's see. Wi-Fi is at the lower, if I understand, Wi-Fi is at the lower end of radio waves, or it's between its upper spectrum microwaves, lower spectrum of radio waves, and by upper and lower I mean lower and upper, because the point is the electromagnetic waves on well, here's radioisotopics to talk about radioisotopes. Surely you could just have 2 to 3 types of freight car. I mean, yeah, what you're just describing is intermodal containers, but you're not wrong. It's only a matter of time until they make intermodal like hopper containers and intermodal tank containers. Uh, so I suppose you're right about that. But point is, when you get to the scale of Wi-Fi where you can have that much information in a small, like in a small package, relatively speaking, in small in terms of like the bandwidth. Um, your waves are getting smaller, so they won't travel as far. Um, radio goes so far because the waves are gigantic. Radio waves are like building sized waves. And they can travel a lot farther because of, just by virtue of being enormous. And at the same time, they can't carry as much information because they're enormous. The amplitude and the frequency, well, amplitude is it's sometimes independent, but is so high that it's sort of like the equivalent of Morse code to let's see, what's a good equivalent? Well, Morse code to like audio radio. Um, except audio can Morse code on a transmitter to just yelling. You know, you can get a lot more across by just yelling if the other person can hear you, but I was going the wrong way. They can't hear you nearly as far. Radio, yeah, no, I know. I was mixing up low and high all the way through this thing. High amplitude, low frequency. I say high, I just mean big. Yeah. I'm confused. I confused myself very early on and then just ran with it, I think. So anyway, we're back in staging. I did write down a couple of things that is like a honey-do list for me, which I had a couple of missing textures. One of them was over here in Mason Valley along the boulevard. I noticed this while I was following the tram around. Right here, right underneath this boulevard, we can patch this up by just using a little bit of dirt. I try to take note of these things so that, when it comes down to it, I can go and get rid of these exposed pieces of missing texture because I can't do it the way that I used to. So there's one. I can mark that off. A mixture missing texture in Lionhead Lake. A 290-ton train with a 280 on the narrow gauge, up at 1.7%. Nice. That's under a building. I said Lionhead Lake. Yeah, there we go. It's right here on the edge. Because I never actually filled in the bottom of the lake with texture. Oh, and there's some right on the edge of the lake here, too. I wonder why realism mode is so broken for steam and trains. It just is. They have never been big on like the actual physics aspect of the game. It's all about route building and automation, I guess. Alright, so there's one more thing I can knock off the list. Missing texture near the northbound 2-track bridge. which is over here. Sorry, it's right here. I don't remember where it was exactly. They're subtle, you know? It's just like a little area where there it is. Where I've missed one singular grid. And then I see it, and I'm mad. Because, you know. Because I missed a spot. There we go. And we'll cover that with grass as well, even though I should have used this grass from this side. Alright, I can mark that off my honeydew list too. Upper Doe Cliff is on the list, but we're not going to work on that yet. So let's talk about train 213. Train 213 is one of the commuter trains, and it pulls into Mason's Landing here. Actually, that's not even the one I was having a problem with. I got that wrong. It's, if I look at my timetable, it was this one, or this one. It was 207 that was giving me a problem at first. 207 is the second one to pull in, which is the thing. It was second time around, so it was causing trouble because it was acting like there was already a train in here and it was trying to find a way around. So it would sit here and it would wait, and it would eventually figure it out, and by the time it made its way in, this switch would flip back and it would derail the train. So what I did was go into here and I edited, let's see, it was this one. I changed it to, oh sorry, that's not the right one. Yard southbound to track 2 is not it. Go back. It was southbound track 2 to yard. Do not restore junctions, which is something that we can do normally. I mean, we don't have to have the junctions restored, and also I have these set up to be dynamic ownership, which isn't really what I should be doing. It isn't what I planned for. Dynamic ownership is better, it gives you more flexibility, especially as a human, but it presents problems in that if you don't select a tower path, you can still do whatever you want. And yeah, that does present a bit of an issue. Because the interlocking towers are there to prevent trains from doing whatever they want. Also, every time I'm down here, I feel like I'm over here, and I expect to be able to go around. The map has gotten so much bigger. So much bigger. But I did want to program something today. I've only got about half an hour to do it, and my head is killing me. But yeah, the AC9 is busted, that's true. As Heiss would say, it puts the track where it wants it. Yeah. So, that I think solved that problem, but it was a problem. There are a couple things that we need to automate next. And this is an instance where we're going to be using the Pullmans again. Because the next things we need to automate are the rail bus and the Atlantic. So 442. Oh, that's not the right kind of 442. Oh, hey, let's look at this. That's a Mikado, all right. It's got those number boards on it. It's an SP thing, right? So let's go down and find the SP stuff that we downloaded all of. So the Civic P10, okay, yeah, those don't work, so we'll have to find a different version, but we have the Class A6 with the daylight tender. That's gross. We don't have any different ones. Is it an A-6? No, it's just an A6. Yeah, see, I wanted like 3003 instead of 3000 or 3000 even because I don't really want the daylight scheme. It doesn't make sense for this railroad. Um, so let me save the game really quick and then download this. Last time it didn't work. You had Bosnian 010. I mean, yeah, we did establish that the AC9 is busted, but we also established that the NG15 is the best locomotive in the world. So, make of that what you will. Honestly, that's the thing about Locomotive Versus and Locomotive Royale and the double headers is they all serve like completely different purposes and they all determine completely different things. And I really do feel like double headers are the game mode where the locomotives matter the least and team coordination is what matters the most. Um, if you have your stuff together, you can win under almost any circumstance in on a this guy does fit on the turntable, but he probably won't like be able to turn on the turntable, so I'm gonna put him in this stall over here. Why did I try to tuck these in? I need to pull these out and make more room and move the signals. So pull that, pull this, pull that. And I'm gonna delete this and this and that. And then I'm gonna grab an invisible signal. So yeah, I think I am fairly convinced that doubleheaders are the game where the locomotives matter the least. Obviously, the game where the locomotive matters the most is Locomotive Versus, which I would be kind of remiss if I didn't do because Locomotive Versus was supposed to be the we compare two locomotives and find out what's best, you know? And that is what Locomotive Versus is and always has been. Now, Locomotive Royale really does a decent job of finding like the most medium locomotive. So, yeah. I mean that just is what it is. I can't really say much more than that. Because yeah, it just finds the most medium locomotive most of the time. And it depends how you play. That matters a lot, but it also depends how your teammates play and who your teammates are, and it depends on a lot of things, you know? Oh, you know what I want to do, actually? And I don't know why these signals are here. I want to have, at least on these three things... Uh-oh. Someone's getting barked at. At least on these three things, I want to have signals that are pointing in. Railbus is colored up like a duck. I feel like it should be named Mallard. Yeah, that's fair. But I'm not naming anything Mallard. Not in my life. So, here's the thing. The Railbus is going to run during off-peak periods of the day. Just basically to have a modicum of competition, gallivanting Gosling, yeah. Like an amount of competition with the trolley system. Meanwhile, that's also not going to be the only rail bus we have. Meanwhile, the Atlantic is going to come out in the AM and PM peaks. Also, I might have the Atlantic do some milk train stuff because it's fast, you know? I also never actually figured out um, where I would have this guy in here. I never figured out where I would have... No, I'm not going to do that. Change my mind. The milk actually go to. You know? It's supposed to get to somewhere in the morning. But is that somewhere Olive? Is that somewhere... Because we don't have a milk unloading place in Olive. Is that somewhere Bellington, which would kind of make sense? Is that somewhere bigger, like Jefferson or Gilson City? That's where I get a little bit hung up. All right, sorry. We need basically the coaches I was using earlier. Yeah, you mix it. Yeah. Need to make some banana bread. I just stuck 3 bananas in the freezer so I could turn them into banana bread later. How many coaches do we think this thing needs? I'm gonna go with 4. So the first train, and we're gonna use some spreadsheets for this, so bear with me. The first train that passes through Mason's Landing, and this is only for northbound trains, or for southbound trains. Sorry. First train through Mason's Landing is at 4:27 a.m. Now, we don't really want to have this guy running back and forth for every single one of these, especially because it'll take a little bit to do that. So we probably want to have it meet maybe every other train, if not like every 3rd train. And I don't think it's going to be out there for the first one. So I'm thinking it would be out there for like the 5 o'clock. You know, it could have a 5:10 departure and then a 6:10 departure. And it would still be ahead of the game when it comes to comparing it with the trolleys, because the trolleys don't start until like 20 of 6. And I would suppose the goal would be to have some sort of passenger connection. All right, let's pull up the Tolbrin map again. Where is it? Maps. Nope, wrong maps folder. This maps folder, Tolbrin. Here we go. So this is probably going to be the next thing that I program because it's fairly straightforward. It doesn't really depend on anything. That's why the passenger trains are getting programmed first. So would it be feasible to have a train that meets up with some sort of narrow gauge express in the morning or later on that runs maybe from Geiger City through Mason Valley and then out to Macon? That would make sense to me if you wanted to push the narrow gauge passenger service. You would need to do that, because otherwise, you know, you could be on a train from Jefferson and go down to Skyline, and then on the Zion and Skyline out to Akron, which is this way. Or you could do this and transfer and transfer and transfer. But the thing is, this is probably not faster. But the other thing is, the morning train, the very first AM train does have a Skyline connection. The thing that really matters is, when do the Zion and Skyline trains run? What time of day do the Zion and Skyline trains run? Because we know that there are like no more than 3 or 4 round trips a day, maybe 5. And they're pretty well spaced out. There's maybe, you know, there's probably one in the morning, one in the midday, and one in the evening. So the morning one would have to coincide with some pretty early morning trains, I would think. And honestly, I think the earliest morning train from uh, Jefferson probably wouldn't even have a Skyline connection run through Sleeper like I currently have it having. But I'm just thinking about that for the sake of the narrow gauge here, because the narrow gauge has a platform here. It's next to, it's next to the other one. But I feel like that would be not the first train of the day, maybe the second train of the day that they would have that meeting, because maybe first train of the day, maybe like 5 a.m. it leaves, um, it leaves Geiger City, or maybe it leaves a little bit later than that. I don't know how long it would take to get here. If we look at this map, that's probably like 10 miles or so. It's not outrageously far, but it's a narrow gauge train, so what does that get you? Either way, we're gonna have the locomotive pull out, turn around, pull out here, back onto the train, pull it out, back it down onto the platform, and then leave and go that way. However, that will happen before 5 in the morning. If our first morning train is, sorry, if our first morning train is leaving at 5:10 from here, it means that we already have this. This is already going to be set up. This is already going to be set up at the other end, which actually makes things a little bit difficult, because it means that I don't have to solve this problem right now, but it means that I have to solve it later, which is when the train pulls in to here, then what happens? Because it's not going to back in. It's going to have to back out, pull onto one of these tracks, pull the engine off, run it into here, spin it on the turntable, and then back down onto its train, which is going to be really annoying and complicated because of the way this is set up. Unless I were to make one of these like a double slip switch and tie it into here. But that's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to engineer a full loop of this thing. And it's going to start over here, not over there. Which means that we're going to be flying blind for a lot of it. It's going to be, this guy is down there. So if I take this, stick it on the end of the train, and grab this consist, and make sure that it's on the right layer, which it is. And there was no reason that I couldn't have just deleted it and replaced it down here, but I like doing... Oh, look, it's underwater. I like doing dumb stuff, I guess. I am dumb. So I want this guy to be waiting here when the other train shows up. It's ready to go, right? So and even I would probably have it back up, and I would have to wait for it to wait for this train to leave through here, so I'd have to add a trigger. Yeah, we're doing triggers again. And if everything works like clockwork, then yeah, that should be fine. Which means that I'm going to add a trigger down here instead of using the weird, like, wait conditions at the beginning of this. Although the reason I added the wait conditions is because I don't know if that's always going to be when it is. Although it makes sense that this is trying to sneak down there before rush hour starts. So, yeah, I guess this is the last time that it could do that. So let's jump to this, switch to the route layer again. Oh, we were already on the route layer. We're going to have to add a trigger right here, which is going to be... I forget how I set this up. Standards. Triggers. Railroad town location description -T. That's right. So this is a VMDL, or sorry, LH. VMLH, which is the same thing as next to it, right? Yeah, VMLH, Elvira Valley, Maine. -T. So now, instead of doing what I was having it doing, I can have you, instead of getting rid of this, or instead of having that there, you're going to wait for trigger. Wait for trigger. Elvira Valley, Maine. Any train. And then you're going to try to leave. Because I sort of came to a conclusion while I was thinking this over, which is that yes, Tolbrand is supposed to be fully automated. Yes, you are supposed to be able to grab any train while Tolbrand is running and do what you want with it, but it should be very obvious that if you don't do the thing that you're supposed to do, it will break. So, yeah. So now he's going to pull up to there and then wait for the other train to come by. I don't actually know how long he waits, but it's however long. I scooted him back off the bridge if you didn't notice. I would suggest a guaranteed connections. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I would like to be doing that, and that's what I'm trying to do down here. It's just a sort of question of how do I make that really work. So sorry, this is GEML, Mason's Landing. GRR track 1. Sorry. Station track 1. This is south. T. Or I should just call it station through. Yeah, I'll do that. It'll be a little bit less of a mouthful. So, yeah, I have to start building this guy's schedule now, and I've got 10 minutes to do it. It's going to... This is going to be the uninteresting part, where I have to go here. Oh, I need to actually... I know, Lafayette, you want to go. I know you want to go. I know you're ready to go get Mommy. I know you're ready to go get Mommy. Yeah, he's getting excited. Atlantic type. This is the 1990 series. Alright. Random number generator. This is going to be 1990. Even. Or sorry. No, that would be 1990... It would be 1999 if we're incrementing it like that. So let's call it 1999. GERR 1999. Running number 1999. Oop, that was one too many nines. Okay. I know. We'll leave in like 10 minutes. Now I need to add a driver for it. Let's see, let's pick one that I don't usually use. Let's do Hentis. I don't even know who that is. So you're going to be in GERR 1999, which is right here. Oh, and I need to mark this on my roster, don't I? So locomotive roster, Gilson Eastern. I need to scroll down about 1,000. I can't reach the scroll bar, so we're just doing it manually. Oh wait, nope, can't do that. I was gonna say middle mouse click. Let's see, 1999 is Mason's Landing. Just where I can find it, you know? It's just a question of it will assume that he's already done the loading and unloading process because it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I will edit session, edit this, scroll right to the bottom, gr999, wait for a trigger, or well, wait for 5 seconds as usual. Wait for a trigger. Let's see. Station through S. Any train, please. Can I change that in here? Nope. That could become a problem later. And then yeah, drive via track mark. Oh, I don't even know if we have track marks on this yet. So that's kind of a problem. We have nope, that's not a track mark. And this is not. Is this right here? Is this a controlled route? I mean, I know it's probably not. I know I meant to do that. Yeah, this is you. Right? Yep. Okay, yeah, and so it has exclusive sets membership. So it's going to have to... Okay, yep. We're going to need a track mark over here. And the reason we're going to need a track mark over here is so that we can operate this industrial park later. Oh, my nose is so itchy. It's just talking. Talking, my like mustache itches my nose or something like that, and it drives me up a wall. So what are we going to call this? What is this area? I didn't name this farm, did I? I don't think so. Oh, there's a signal right here. And I'll keep this at 20. So this is going to be, it's a track mark. So it's, someday I'll remember these. GE, ML. And this is, the next thing up is description, right? Allocation description. What the heck are we going to call this? Limit of shunt. Limit of shunt. We'll just call it 1. I mean, there is no other 1. But we'll just call it 1 for now in case I decide to make another limit of shunt somewhere else in the same town. So you're going to run through that one. I guess this is just going to be us putting track marks in, huh? Oh, and there's missing texture right here. Got to fix that. There we go. He's still waiting very patiently. Love this dog. He I can call dumb with impunity. Make sure I can see things. That's okay, nobody's made any insightful comments. Or any comments at all for that matter. ML... Oh, sorry, GEDC. This is the only ones that are going to start with that. GE Doe Cliff. Valley Line 1. GDC Valley Line 2. There we go. I see more. What a slack job, huh? What idiot made that? Okay. So then we continue on. And then we need to... Let's see, where should the next track mark be? Because I can just tell it to go all the way to the station. And I might want to do that. But the only thing is... I don't want it to go... I would probably want it to go on the outside track here, but that isn't the mainline track. So, I don't know what's better and what's worse, or what's worse. You know what, I'll put track marks on both, and I'll tell it whichever one is the, like, most easily accessible, I guess. Because I might end up having to do that later. I'm not going to do these like I did the other ones, because they're not supposed to be accessible from both sides. And I'm going to GE MV, Mason Valley. This will be the north runaround. And this is track 1. GE MV north runaround 2. Okay. And I'll have it pull into the station. Alright, let's see if I can just hook that up right now before I leave. Because it's time for me to go. Driver setup. It's a wait, and then you gotta go do ITS set path, ML tram, southbound to northbound. I need to rename that. Yeah, I definitely need to write that down. Roles operation. Rename ML tram stuff. I'm sure I'll remember what that means. Navigate via track mark or drive via track mark. GE. GML. Yeah. GML. Why are these GE North Staging Express? It should say NS instead of North Staging. Whatever. GE ML limit of shunt. Navigate via track mark. GE Valley Line 1. We'll do it as 1 for now. Navigate via track mark or drive via track mark. GMV North Runaround 1. And then these stations have probably not been renamed properly. MV. I don't think they are. Let's see. Station Way, Sanchez Goods. What are they called? I might be looking right at it and I can't find it. But let's just double check what's what. I'll have to rename these. Oh no, MVGE Mason Valley, and then MVG. Oh wait, that's the same one. MVGE Mason Valley, and then this one is MVGM Mason Valley. No, it is named properly. I just Couldn't find it while staring directly at it. Drive to MV GE Mason Valley, Platform 1. I'm going to leave that for now because I have to head off, but we'll probably work on more of that next time. Like I said, I'm sort of focusing on the passenger stuff now because it has fewer variables. One of the things I need to start thinking of is the big goods converting warehouse in Gelson City. When do the trains leave that? You know? And I need to start putting together the train that, that does the thing. The train that brings stuff from Olive to Mason Valley. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week. This is the Admiral, signing off.